Good morning, Gray. Good morning, honey. Hi. You're such a good girl. You know what? It's raining outside this morning, but you don't have to deal with that. Hi. Hello. Good morning. How's my girl? Yeah, that's your bed. It is in your banana. Good girl. Aww. Good girl. Come here, Stripe. He was in the house and already had him a mouthful or two because he's Mama's spoiled boy now. Not currently raining, but the ground's wet. It's been raining, so I put the food in here today. And it's not good when the dry chow gets soggy. Hi. Hello, spoiled boy. Come here, spoiled boy. Yeah. Hi, sweetie. Okay. Make it hard for me to pet you. That's it. There's Ruby. Good morning, Tux. Hi, Sir Tux-a-lot. It's Mama. Okay, I just let you eat. Good morning, bud. Good morning. Hi. Hello. Hello, good boy. Yep, it's wet and it's just a little foggy out there. Wish it was Friday. We're all so tired. My foot's doing pretty good. It's not hurting more than a 2. I took Tylenol at 10 p.m. I think. You can be good, buddy. Hey, bud. Good boy. And careful on the boardwalk. I can't get my foot in my anti-slip Chef Crocs. So, the ones I have on are pretty slippery. Oh, and it's raining now. Good morning, Ruby. I forgot to plug Ruby in when I got home last night. We'll blame it on being excited to see the guys and hear how the robot was doing. Anyway, Don didn't notice that I didn't plug her in because sometimes he catches it. And I started out with 112 miles today, which is plenty to get downtown and back, but not enough to go downtown and back twice today. So we'll figure it out. I had charged her for a few hours during the day yesterday while I was home and waiting to go to the doctor. So that's why I have such a comfortable amount this morning, because if I had driven, you know, yesterday and had not charged and picked up, you know, let's just say 50, I don't know how many miles it was, but let's say 50 during the day, then I would be a little low this morning too. So anyway, yeah, I'm currently at 106, which is fine, just not my normal morning amount. I guess it's okay to get passed by the Model S Plaid on the way in. Seen this car before. It has a wrap. It's blue, but it's matte blue. It's pretty. Oops. I don't know if I said it's 61 out there. I think it's supposed to clear some by the afternoon, and we're going to get up to 70 something. Different day, repeat. It's such a nice day out here this morning. It's not raining heavy, but it is raining. Oh. Well, considering the fact that I'm meeting Michelle to shop, yay! I probably should not walk 3 miles on my foot this morning. Give it a chance to heal up a little bit. I'm not allowed to take the bandage off till tomorrow or get it wet until tomorrow. And the fact that I didn't finish yesterday's video, I'm probably gonna tell Don we're not walking this morning. That sounds good, right? Rest my poor injured foot. Don't walk in the rain. And get stuff done I need to get done to make my day better. When I get home, I will plug Ruby in. We'll just have to figure out what we were gonna do. So of course Don and I did watch the live Investor Day stream yesterday afternoon. It started around, well, it's supposed to start around 4 p.m. and thankfully it was closer to 4:30 p.m. because I was a little late getting in the door and Don was finishing up with the robot stuff with Johnny, and they always run a little late, and we could always start the live stream back from the beginning and it not be exactly live, which is sort of what we ended up doing. We were about 10 minutes behind. At any point, it is disappointing that Wall Street and the analysts are so misinformed that they would have driven the price down last night, the stock price. I mean, it's a blip, and for long people, it just really doesn't matter. But it sends an important signal that they just don't get it, which is sad at this point because, you know, Tesla spent over 3 hours last night explaining why they should get it, and I think it's pretty clear why they should get it, and it's just disappointing. You know, people in advance were saying this is what Tesla's going to say when they didn't have a clue, and they weren't really speaking for Tesla, but there was a lot of messaging out there about Model 2, etc., etc. I'm proud of the Tesla team for not being, having their hand forced and saying things they weren't ready to say. I think Elon is probably a hard lesson to continue to handle properly, but I think he's learned his lesson at least a little bit about not saying things too early when they don't really know how long it'll really take, inferring promises about stuff, because it's like me and Don at IBM. How many APRs is this release of your product going to create? How many problems will be in the product? How many customer call-ins, PMRs are you going to have? Problem reports. You know, Don and then me at one point were having to magically come up with these numbers, and there's really no way to know that. And higher or lower doesn't mean the service team didn't do a good job. And you know, he's had to be really careful with managing that message. Well, so I get why Tesla has to be really careful about managing their message too, with dates and how long it'll take. And like my favorite line in Star Trek is Scotty in Star Trek, it's 5, right? The voyage home. You didn't tell him how long it was really going to take, did you? Sorry, my Scottish accent's not too good. But, I mean, really? You didn't tell him what you really thought, right? You padded it out some to protect yourself. It's a very important business concept. So anyway, I thought they did a good job yesterday with not saying things they weren't ready to say yet. And shame on those people in advance. It's one thing to make a prediction. It's another thing to be arrogant and sound like you know what Tesla's going to say when you really don't. So I think that helped. All that hype about them talking about the Model 2, and then people, that's all they cared about. They weren't there to, you know, I mean, some of the people in the room were obviously did care, but you know what I'm saying. Some of the market analysts that are not pro-Tesla anyway, all they heard was Tesla didn't announce the Model 2. Tesla must be in trouble, right? And so then they sold off or sent out a message to their people that pay them to tell them what to do with their money and their stock and said sell. Obviously, some of that happened yesterday. But every time Tesla does something good, the stock goes down. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's fine. It's just getting the message out there and being understood is apparently really tough for Tesla. And there was several things in there yesterday that if people really listened were very important. So I'll let Don maybe, you know, if he has a few things he wants to say, we have time, I can work that out and see what he thought. He was generally positive and said if anyone can do the things they were outlining, it would be Elon. Like, he wouldn't back other people. He'd say they were going to fail. But since Elon said they could do it, he's demonstrated many times that he can do things that other people can't. He was pretty positive on it. And I want to say that we thought Elon was looking really good yesterday, except for maybe very pensive and thinking deep about what he wanted to say and not say, being careful, maybe a little tired, but he looks like he's lost weight. He also looks like he might be lifting some weights. I think the life down in Austin is suiting him. Maybe he's getting outside in the sunshine more. He's always doing walking at the gigafactories, right? But it's artificial light inside, probably. Maybe down there at this you know, space stuff, he's outside in the sunshine more. I think the life down there is seems to be suiting him. He's probably, you know, when he spends time with his son and his dog and enjoying that life. And we thought he'd look good. You know, we care so much about what he's doing for humanity that we stay concerned about his health and want to make sure he's taking care of himself. And, you know, nights on the couch at Fremont when they were in production hell for Model 3, you know, that was a toll on his health for sure. So the fact that he's hopefully doing a little better, even if he's still short on sleep, that's good, because for a while there, the stress level seemed to be really, really tough on him. So Dawn was reading an article this morning from the Mayo Clinic from Dee Steepen, Mayo Clinic News Network, titled "Foods Linked to Disease Stronger Than You May Think." And it was yet another article basically saying don't eat processed foods, especially don't eat ultra processed food. Like a Dorito would be an example of an ultra processed food. My heavy whipping cream, although it's an animal product and higher in fat, is ultra processed, and that's something I should certainly work to get back out of my diet or reduce in my diet. Never mean to imply that Dawn and I don't have any additional work to do, although, you know, when you've moved off of drinking 2 to 4 liters of Diet Mountain Dew a day and you don't do that anymore, that's a huge huge step in the right direction, right? Because I used to do that, and Dawn used to drink tea with sweet and low in it, lots of tea and sweet and low. So I mean, we both were doing diet drinks, and we don't do those type of diet drinks anymore. So I don't know, he was reasonably okay with the article, but they seem to still not mention that meat can be part of a healthy unprocessed food diet. So, you know, eggs, cheese, meat, especially ruminant meat, and of course plants as well. So yeah, if they're gonna get people to leave processed food, they have to feel satiated. Satiated means eating some fat, a lot of fat potentially. And yeah, I don't know. So it was a good article, but it only went so far. It only went so far. Anyway, one other thing is I will talk a little bit about today is I had already stopped using any products with erythritol in them, and the reason is I found that the monk fruit drops from Now Foods, which are organic, the monk fruit is in a cane sugar alcohol base, but that's not erythritol. I just found I liked that better, and it was cheaper, and it mixed in with my coffee better. And I had basically already stopped using the monk fruit erythritol granular blend that I was using, because it was in the news this week. Erythritol is bad for you, can cause heart attack and stroke, to be specific, death, cardiac arrest. So the study said. And I think a lot of the keto community is basically saying, you know, it's probably not a bad idea to reduce it. Small amounts are probably okay. Like, you know, 1 coffee a day with a teaspoon of monk fruit erythritol blend may not be enough to do anything, but if you're substituting it for every time you used to have sugar, which is 4 or 6 or 8 times a day, then that probably is a higher dose of anything that you don't really want to be having that much of any one food like that. So, but the Now monk fruit drops, I'll show you a picture, put a picture up and show you, is what I'm currently using, and a little bit goes a long way. And it seems to be, I buy it in the really big bottle. Now I think I should stop using that too, because it's really a processed food, and you know, continuing to want a sweet taste is not optimal, etc., etc. But in the scheme of things, you got to look at you know, not having diabetes and other positives associated with not having sugar. You know, better teeth health, less joint pain, all this stuff. So for me, it's probably still a part of my diet, but a goal would be for it to be less of a part of my diet. Anyway, so one key takeaway I had from Investor Day yesterday is that they're installing version 4 supercharger stuff in Europe. And one of the things associated with that is a larger charging cable, which could be useful for non-Teslas charging at the supercharger, having the appropriate length, not needing to take up too much space. It'll be interesting. You know, the one thing about Tesla's cables is you know, they can be thrown on the ground, but they're not so long that when they're hung up properly that there's ever any extra lying around on the ground, and then they can't be accidentally run over and all this other stuff. Of course, it didn't stop people from just coming along and thinking it was cute to just put them all on the ground or not hang them or whatever. But so that was interesting. That was one key takeaway I had. Ruby has 75 miles. I plugged her in and started charging, even though it's 15 minutes until off peak. And I've got, you know, right at an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes before Ruby has to move to go to Guardian Angel and meet Michelle. Should be enough. I'm on my way to meet Michelle, and I'm basically on time. It's 10:27. I always think I can snap my fingers and poof, I'm at Guardian Angel. Well, almost. I mean, it's like 5 to 7 minutes at town through, you know, town speed. But I got yesterday's video done, and I did take 2 more Tylenol. I had taken 2 at 10 last night, so now I've taken 2 at 10 this morning. When I got up to get ready to come out, I felt it enough that I thought, you know what, there's just no reason for that. I'll be doing gentle walking at Guardian Angel, but I will be on it. And you know, I don't want to be taking that stuff all the time, but I don't want to spoil my shopping with Michelle because I'm thinking about my foot hurting. So enjoyment with Michelle trumps trying to pressure through it and not take Tylenol. And Dawn was going to head to the landfill, come home and take a nap, and then maybe do some additional pressure washing because it's supposed to clear up a little bit more. And really, if you're just going to get wet with the power washer, what does it matter if it's wet? So it's pretty warm out. It's in the 60s. Me, if I was going to be getting wet, I'd probably want it in the 80s, but Don likes it a little cooler than me. You know, he's a guy. So anyway, that's what's going on. It is Thursday. Johnny does have Taekwondo tonight. I just realized I forgot to take out anything for dinner, which really meant go stare in the freezer and figure out if I could possibly tolerate cooking anything besides just making steaks again, which Dawn and I would be happy with steak and eggs, but Johnny would like some variety. So I have to take everybody's feelings into consideration. Maybe we have some, I think we have one more pack of bone-in pork chops, and those are easy enough to make on Taekwondo night. So, because you know, I have to think too about, I'm not really around to do cooking necessarily, or I have to send Dawn out to get Johnny. Tonight's Triangle Tesla virtual meetup, I'm iffy on if I'll make it or not, because I probably could use to run to Walmart, or probably could use to come home and do meal prep. So I don't know, we'll see. I could maybe stop coming back through town. I don't know. I should have given you guys an update on charging. Ruby had 112 miles when I left home. She's got 106 now. That's plenty to go downtown and back. I don't need to leave climate on today. And if I did, the air conditioner doesn't use much. Hey girl. You got your Titanic stuff on. Are you all decked out with the jewelry? Now does Loungefly make a Titanic though? No,
I didn't get a Titanic Loungefly yet.
Not yet. Yeah, but this is a shirt from last week, right? Yeah.
I do have some, you know, like sailors bracelets and Georgie from Pennywise the Clown.
Oh, okay.
I'm all messed up.
Way cool.
And that's just Diagon Alley.
Oh, okay, okay, Harry Potter.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, way cool.
Yeah.
It's new though.
Right, because Barnes & Nobles is having a sale because they're moving from Cary onto Kildare Farm Road. And everything was 25% off.
Woo, yeah.
And for lunch fly, that's good.
That's good. Oh, that is so cute. That is really cute. I think I like that. I do. Oh, is it an egg nesting eggs? Literally. Oh, all this cute Easter stuff is out. I don't see a village piece yet, though. You know, I would be mostly looking for a village piece. These are these. Don't recognize 222 fifth. They're pretty. Very pretty. Okay, that's cool. I can add Happy Easter to my window for 50 cents. Oh, that's cute. All you need is love and a dog. Or love and a cat. So these are brand new frames. I think they're 16 by 20. They're $2 a piece. They're lightweight. Michelle's getting 2 and I'm getting 2. I thought maybe command stripping them in Johnny's dorm room. He might want to decorate a couple. Unopened. Michelle has it because I gave it to her, but I don't have it. And then Michelle in the keychain bin found me Santa. It's a real Lego Santa. But that's too small for our boy Jarvis. But it is a official strap in the seatbelt car ride seat. So they have an official Gold's Gym weight vest, but they're asking $39 for it. Looks like it's 22 pounds. It does have the reflection stuff on it, but that's a little pricey. Have 2 officially licensed Girl Scout sweatshirts. Well, Don's all set on work gear, but there's some good deals there.
Oh?
Yeah. Yeah. They're coasters, and some people definitely think that. Well, I'll see you next week, girl. We did good today. Yep. She's not allowed to stand in front of Ruby because poor Ruby looks dirty. We have to clean her before the meetup this weekend. All right, well, you take care, honey. I loved shopping with you and love you. Bye.
Bye.
So I'm on my way downtown and I'm embarrassed because Ruby put on her turn signal and got over in front of a red Model Y, one I haven't seen before, by the way, for no reason, no good reason. We were set to, you know, 58 or 59 here, and God, she just is driving me nuts. Stop changing lanes. I'm in a calm and no rush mood. Just stay tucked in the right hand lane at the speed I set you to, or whatever it needs to be. You know, Don would always get frustrated because he would end up going much slower. You know, he would get behind a vehicle and the car would just kind of stay there and it wouldn't, you know, change lanes or move or anything, and you'd just be going this extra slow for a while. Well, me, like half the time, I just want to stay in the right-hand lane and not babysit full self-driving that much. Anyway, she tried to pull back over. I just ran over something. I have no idea what that was. Hopefully it didn't damage the tire. Yeah. The red Model Y is still on my left rear area. Not blind spot, but back there still. And has had to watch Ruby do funky lane changes twice now. I'm sure they're back there going, yep, I bet that car's on full self-driving. Don't care what any of the other people around me think, but I do care what the Tesla driver thinks. I believe it was a woman driver, and the license plate is Kick Rocks, and Rocks is R-O-X-X. I tried to look over and smile, but my traffic lane stopped and hers kept on going, and it didn't really quite work out back there at the stoplight. Yes, yes, Ruby, we're in the construction zone. Just don't put on the turn signal again. So there's a white 3, and our friendly red Model X is here on the other side of the intersection. Johnny says there's been a couple days he's seen it that I didn't call it out. So it continues to be parked over there often. We're up to 67 out there, and as with so many afternoon trips home, I'm ready to be back at the house. I don't usually get too frustrated coming home in the morning or going in the afternoon, but going in the morning and coming out in the afternoon can be pretty frustrating. And today we had a tractor trailer across our path in one of those big U-turn things to get himself turned around, and I literally had to come to a stop in a 55 zone And there really didn't seem to be any cars behind me, and Ruby is red. So I would have preferred that he not done that. But, you know, maybe there are extenuating circumstances I didn't know. But I thought it was rude. I had time to stop. It wasn't a sudden, an emergency stop or anything. But it just wasn't appreciated. And then at the railroad light back behind me, the light turned green and I was looking forward. I wasn't on my phone. I was ready to go. And the little guy in the MG, he cut right across in front of me like he just owned the intersection. He did not have an arrow. He did not have the right of way. And that was pretty ballsy, if you ask me. That also was not very nice. Now, we've all probably done that. I'm in a rush thing. Once, you know, the person across from me is not paying attention, I'm just going to gun it and go across in front of them. But I would say probably respect the Tesla or any other electric car with instant torque, because, you know, we may actually take off, and you probably just shouldn't pull out in front. I'm always irritated at somebody or another out here on the road. The road is a rough place, and people are not patient, and people do things that are not particularly safe and or do not obey the laws of traffic. And yeah. Hey, Donnie. It looks like you're working too hard. Is it coming off any better today? Or you won't know until you rinse it, really.
Well, I've done that.
Sure. Oh, I do see that it's improved up there.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work to do.
Yep. Thank you for doing it for us.
Yep. Well, I'm going to rinse this. And then I've got where that step ladder is to do that
the lower section.
Yeah, I already had the ladder up high as I could get it.
Sure. New parts here. Building waiting to have new parts installed here. I have an hour before I need to leave with Johnny, and I've rested my foot some, so I feel up to being back up for a few minutes. Although it's definitely doing better when I'm not standing. We're watching Tom Malogny's video. He took a F-150 Lightning to a Tesla supercharger in New York today and charged it, and on Twitter he said he was happy. This is a 30-minute video, and he's bringing up a lot of points, and he's sharing his opinion about some stuff. And I want you to hear what Dawn's got to say, but I also want you to hear...
Her kids, she's got a lot of points, too.
Yeah, well, I wish I'd have started recording 15 minutes ago. And I wish I had Kyle and Adam and David and our other friends on that we talked at just on our day 2000, because this is one of those topics where there's lots of room for discussion and everybody's got some sort of an opinion. But Tom, the thing that got me bent a little wrong was he said no way the Tesla supercharger, the North American charging standard, is going to be accepted now that they made it so CCS can charge on Tesla. And I said, well, I wouldn't be quite so confident, Tom. But then I thought about it for just a minute, and I said, does Tesla care anymore? Do they care if whether or not the North American charging standard gets accepted or not? I mean, and this is my opinion, okay?
Right.
I'm a little upset about YouTube influencers lately and how opinionated and how much influence they try to exert. But just as a person on the street, my opinion is that the Tesla supercharger handle wand is better.
Right.
It's smaller, it's easier to maneuver, it works, there's so many things to like about it. And yes, we have this magic dock now, and yes, it appears to be working. Kyle's dad, he had to move from one charger to another. Yeah. We don't know why, whether that was something to do with magic dock or not. I wondered at one point why he didn't get in his car and look at what his car was telling him. Yeah. But I thought he did a great job. I'm not picking it apart.
And he certainly didn't make a big point of
and we've moved before too, and not really known what was why we had to do that. So
right.
not a big point. But you know, it's working. But do we really long term want that to be a solution for a whole bunch of cars where they've got to put this thing on in order to charge?
Right.
I would say no. So I'm not willing to give up on Tesla's wand being accepted. I'm just not giving up on it, Tom. You can think it's a dead deal now, but you can't. And then what was the other thing I said? Oh, I just said I don't know that Tesla cares anymore.
That's right.
Unless they were going to license the use of the Tesla supercharger, which I think the patent's already out there for free.
Yeah,
you could put it on your car.
Yeah.
Unless they were going to charge, you know, there's still the software negotiation. Do you come in as a non-Tesla still, but with the Tesla? I mean, they'd have to do a little bit, but not a lot. But I don't know if Tesla cares. I think it's better for the electric car driver if Tesla is North American charging standards adopted, but I don't know that Tesla as a company and profit-wise, I don't know if they care anymore. And so you made a point about the magic docks and the manufacturing and stuff.
Right. Well, Tom also said that, you know, now his exact words, I'm quoting, he says, now the new, I don't know, IRA, what's it, infrastructure something bill? They call it the IRA?
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Inflation Reduction Act, Donnie. Remember, it's not about green and EVs, and it's the Inflation Reduction Act. Right. These jobs are supposed to help
infrastructure.
Right.
Deal.
Yeah.
There's a quote, according to Tom, a big pool of money that Tesla gets to tap into now. And meaning that their motivation was the tapping into that.
Right. Today, that's why, exactly. He did imply that Tesla was after the money.
And look, I'm sure all contributions are appreciated. You know, you can send them my way, okay? But I don't think, you know, Tesla does things very quick, faster than most people. But I got a feeling they had the magic dock way back when Elon, I think it was 2020 or 2021, Elon says someday they're going to, because we've talked about this before, they're going to open up the superchargers to non-Teslas. We speculated they're going to do 2 cables like they did in Europe or whatever. I mean, Elon has said that's going to happen. Well, I got a feeling he already had the magic dock at that point. That was the number one. He may have had multiple things going, but because they often said the only sin in Tesla, it came out last night in the investor one, the only sin, unforgivable sin, is wasting time. You can waste money, you can throw away machines, but you can't waste time. So it's very possible Elon had one group developing the magic jock full bore, somebody else doing the dual cable or whatever, any number of ways. So all I'm getting at is we don't know what Elon was thinking. And the one thing that is true that we do know, that most electric cars in North America are Teslas and use the Tesla plug. It is true. Most car makers and most electric car brands in North America are CCS. There's only one Tesla and everybody else is CCS. But Tesla sells more cars, electric cars, than all the other guys combined. And oh, by the way, I saw something on TV last night to those investors, and my opinion is Tesla plans to put the pedal to the metal. And they continue not only to sell more, but a hell of a lot more electric cars than everybody else. So when 19 million electric cars are Teslas and there's 1 million non-Teslas, does it really matter? When there's 49,999,000 Teslas and there's 5,000 non-Teslas, is it going to matter?
Well, it's a little more than 5,000, but no.
People are going to quit. They're going to quit. If Porsche goes out of business and stops selling, goes out of business, or let me rephrase it, Porsche may not. If GM goes bankrupt, as Jack Record said, they're going to be selling their assets for 6 cents on the dollar. How much longer are you going to keep your electric Silverado or your electric Bolt or your electric, Cadillac, when GM's out of business?
Yeah, the Lyric.
Lyric.
Yeah.
If Ford goes bust, I didn't say Ford was, because they actually are doing pretty well. But if they were to go bust, how many centuries are you going to hold on and continue to drive your car? How many Oldsmobiles you see on the road?
How many Pontiacs?
Yeah,
they used to be all over the place.
It don't take more than about 10 years and they're gone.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, 2050, there could be.
Don swears he's living to 2050,
I'm living to 2050.
which means I have
My
to.
goal is 2050.
I
baby.
think Don can do it. How old would you be?
I'll be 93.
Okay, I think Don can do it.
Yeah.
I really think he can. So that means I have to make 82.
Oh, you will make way more than 82.
So I'm going to make 82. I was 11 years younger. So those were great points. I'm just redirecting you back to a couple of things you said to me that I wanted you to say to our viewers, our friends. You said about the manufacturing of the Magic Dock. Tell them what you said about that.
Right. Well, I think right now, today, there's probably over 100 chargers equipped with the Magic Dock.
Pedestals. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it takes a while to manufacture those things, and they actually got them installed to boot. They're out there, and that little phone call that little agreement between Tesla and the White House, that just happened 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, when they came to this thing. So I'm thinking they've had all this stuff, and Tesla was going to do this. And I don't know what leverage they used or didn't use with the White House. I don't know. I said that's the big unknown, but I think your point is the correct one. It really doesn't matter. And the whole controversy about, some car 800 volt systems, Tesla's doesn't do 800. Well, that's all right. Those cars, there's only a few of those, and there'll probably be a few more. But it isn't really going to matter. I think version 4 eventually is going to get a Magic Dock too, or come out of the box with the Magic Dock, and it's a 1000 volt system. So that problem will fix itself, and it's just like all the other ones. So hopefully, I'm thinking that North American Charging Standard, like J1772 or whatever, is just going to be the de facto down the road, because all the cars are going to have it.
Another thing Don pointed out was that Rivian had talked about building their own adventure network. So not the chargers that get you to the Grand Canyon, within 50 miles of the Grand Canyon or Pikes Peak, but the ones that get you to the remote destination, the adventure, actual inside the park. And when they were saying that, I don't think they could conceive of just how fast Elon was going to keep building out the supercharger network.
That's right.
I think, didn't Ford say they were going to have their own charging infrastructure? Like a lot of these companies, I guess they thought somehow there would be space for them to go out there and a need to build their own network. And it's like, well, I don't think they need to put not one other stinking charger in anywhere. I think, Tesla's going to get super close to the Grand Canyon, and then probably the hotels up there are going to have destination chargers with, plugs on it that everybody can use. The thought that Rivian would, and you're giving me that look now, but the thought that Rivian would think that they still need to build their own charging network, that boggles my mind. I understand why they said it. It was a great PR message, and it sounded like it fit the lifestyle of the people they were targeting, and it would be great if we had chargers in these remote spots. Although I think hotels with destination chargers are meeting the need on the far end, and I realize maybe some of these spots. Well, look, where you're going to have a charger out in the middle of nowhere? Is there not at least a hotel or an RV campground or something? I don't foresee there's nothing within 100 miles, and here's this, maybe there's a few. I don't see Rivian needing to do that anymore. So if I was them, I would focus a lot less on it and let Tesla outdo themselves and keep on. God bless, and go build more superchargers that our trucks can now charge on. Yeah.
Well, and the last thing is,
Don didn't know where I was going with that, but
I agree. Well, the Adventure Network, it's nice that you can get to the national park or your scenic back campground, or your, back off the road, way back in the deep woods. When you get there, you'll be able to find a place where you can plug your Rivian in their Adventure Network. That's good. But how are you going to get from your house to the national park? Where are you going to charge without Tesla? Forget Tesla for a while, but because I think it's had gotten to be a problem that a lot of these EA chargers aren't working. They don't work well. They could be cute. If everybody continues to sell electric cars that use CCS, the problem was only getting worse. And of course, we found out in cold weather. I think Zach and Jesse basically showed that, you know, the Rivian didn't charge. They couldn't do anything in super cold weather. So there's just a lot of issues with this whole adventure.
Yeah, I believe they said they basically weren't traveling. For an adventure vehicle, they were surely not prepared to adventure with it right now.
Right.
They were not giving up hope on adventuring with it, but right now, not happening.
Right. Well, that has really nothing to do with the fast chargers. But, you know, to get to these adventurous places, most people don't live in their backyard, have that in their backyard. You know, you have to drive somewhere. Like we'd have to drive to the mountains from here if we wanted to experience the Blue Ridge Parkway or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, but what I was also trying to get at is that I don't think it costs Tesla very much money to add the super dock. I have no idea. I bet there is.
Obviously, it didn't. It was a few hours labor.
$1,500, $2,000 hardware plus the installation.
Right.
$5,000 a pedestal, maybe. Well, now they're going to get to the business model. It may not be cost effective for people to, if I started a new charging company, I'm going to go out there and buy some land or sign a lease or something with somebody, that I'm going to install this DC fast charger with CCS, and then I'm going to come up with some kind of a charging billing system. I'm going to do all these things. That probably costs $500,000, $1 million a pop, depending. I don't know what the average would be, but it isn't $5,000. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars, not thousands of dollars. Well, Tesla already had the charger for a few dollars more. Now look at the revenue source they just opened up. And I believe they're going to be compelled, Tesla will be compelled to have to charge $1 kilowatt hour, $2 a kilowatt.
Well, they're not doing that to start out with, but as we know, prices are subject to change.
But
because Kyle's dad paid, what did he say, 49 cents or something for charging in New York. It didn't sound off base to me.
But
it's higher than I want to pay, but.
Well, for somebody else to have a DC fast charger network, I don't think the business model, now that there's a big competitor, I don't see how you can go into business and not be able to. You've got to charge enough money that you could stay alive as a public charger network. And so therefore, the real cost, because Volkswagen, the money in 10 years is going to run out. They're going to have to earn their keep. Well, they're going to have to raise their prices. They're going to have to raise their prices to $1, 50, 75, 85 cents a kilowatt. They'll always have to be cheaper than Tesla, because otherwise, why would you go to them? Why would you go to a charger that probably won't work? It's going to be frustrating when you can just go over here. When I was driving a gas car, I swear to God, it's cheap. And Marianne will tell you how tight I am with money.
Well, before me anyway. Right. He was very tight.
I would not even make a left turn to go into a gas station to save 5 cents a gallon. If I could make a right turn in and a right turn out of a service station, and it was 5 cents more a gallon than the guy across the street, because I was perpetually running late for work, had to get home, so wherever I was going, I never planned well. I was always, and that having to deal with the left turn and not being able to get back, it never did it. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't go to Electrify America and deal with the frustration of trying to get that, unless it was 50 cents a kilowatt hour and Tesla was charging $2. I mean, I'm telling you, that's why I'm saying they're going to be compelled to charge more. Otherwise, everybody's going to go out of business.
Right. I can only think of one YouTuber that hates Tesla so much that he would rather, we could rather die in his car than charge on the Tesla network. Right. But that's his problem. Yeah, that's his personal problem. I want to see that video. He won't make that video, but it could happen. One last thing is Dawn talked a little bit about the Osborne effect with me last night. Reminded me that, whenever people think new stuff is coming, which they really didn't announce a lot of new stuff last night, but whenever they think new stuff is coming, then they're going to hold off. So I'm going to bet that just because you can now charge your non-Tesla on the Tesla network, and it should be pretty reliable and reasonably fast, that the folks that have their Model Y on order are not going to cancel their Model Y and go order a non-Tesla EV. That's my bet. I think they're going to stick with Tesla. I don't think they're going to go, oh, I really wanted I'm just saying, for example, a Mach-E. Now I'm going to go get it because I can charge on Tesla. I didn't really want that Model Y. I'm going to go get a Mach-E now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to...
I don't think that's going to happen, but... I mean, can we find a person that can be interviewed on Twitter to say that they canceled their reservation, lost their small deposit, and are now getting a non-Tesla EV instead of a Tesla, since they can use the super... We will find, they will pull a person out, a few people out maybe even, and that'll be a news story to use to show how the demand for Tesla is not good or whatever. I hope, since this is Tesla stock owner girl talking and fangirl talking now very clearly, that we won't lose sales of new vehicles because folks feel like it's, you know, EA was probably killing some sales of non-Tesla EVs. Kyle got to the point where he was telling people not to buy non-Tesla EVs if you need to, like, do anything more than commute from your house to work and back and charge at home.
That's right.
Like if you're thinking you're road tripping, vacation with them,
got a commuter
going
car,
remote, commuter car, but not for other stuff. I think he was pretty clear about it and why he switched his tune on it.
Now he can
now I guess he could go back to just recommending what he likes, and that's fine. Although he likes a lot of really nice cars, and there's a lot of nice cars coming out all the time. So I'm just saying it changes a lot, and that's okay because there's a lot of nice stuff coming out. There's many good possibilities to choose from, but yeah, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. What do you think? Do you think it's going to cause people to go buy non-Teslas now because they can charge on the supercharger network? The fear of it not being a trip car, do you think it's going to make a big impact?
I think that the dealers will take advantage of it, because it's my understanding a few years ago it was common that they told potential customers that their cars charge on there's superchargers all over. The dealers didn't even understand
that it couldn't or whatever. I agree. The salesmen are going to hype it up. You don't got to worry no more.
That's right.
Yep, it's all fixed now.
Yeah, it's all fixed now. You can charge it Tesla super.
Yeah, no worry.
They won't use the word Tesla supercharger. They just say there's
supercharger.
There's 4,500 chargers all in America. You know, there's 100 of them in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, that's another great point too. What do you call the chargers? Well, does not everybody call them super? Did we not have people trying to call EA?
Call them superchargers.
Right, they'll probably call them superchargers, even though that's probably not copyrighted by Tesla, but a sort of a proprietary word that Tesla came up with. Well, but I mean, it's becoming common vernacular. It's already common vernacular. If you ask people, like if I asked Michelle, so where do people charge their EV? I'll bet you $5 that she's going to say supercharger. And that's because she hangs out with me, but also because, like, I didn't even know what other name you would use. Like, I mean, it's sort of already common language in America. That's like...
Well, you might have heard the term...
There's capital S and little s is what I'm
charger,
saying.
Or something like that. But
yeah,
now,
5 or 6 years ago on Jack Ricard's EVTV channel or something.
But this is the thing Elon has talked about before. When you have words that take longer to say, acronyms that take longer to say than the actual word. CCS, supercharger. Ooh, you don't save a whole lot of time saying CCS over supercharger. So, and supercharger actually rolls off the tongue.
It rolls. Yep, it rolls.
I got a feeling that the Tesla superchargers will be still called supercharger and not called CCS.
So, yeah, we think supercharger is easier to say. My camera battery died because we've been going on for a while today. Today's video is going to be called Dawn Spouts Off Again. But they like it when you talk. Yes, yeah, it's fine. And then, you know, I throw in a few things too. But my other thing I came up with is, like, we've been sitting here wondering what other automaker was going to go to the North America charging standard. And what I wonder is now, instead of that, and that's still, will there be one to drop ship on CCS and move over? Would Ford like to get in bed with Tesla and help push the government or the, you know, adoption committees to switch over? That would be really nice. Ford, come on, let's have a little EV love back and forth here. But maybe, just maybe, would Ford instead give their customers a choice?
Oh,
Which would you rather have on your car? Would you rather have CCS or would you rather have North American? Is there a OEM out there that has the balls to give their customers a choice and work with Tesla so that they have a full choice? And I would say probably not,
right.
But I think I wouldn't put it at 0%.
Right.
That someone won't do it. I mean, what would be if you wanted to put your foot in the door just to see if a move to the North American charging standards the way you want to go, or if you saw the writing on the wall and you didn't want to have even more vehicles out there wanting to be converted, needing to be converted, would you want to put your foot in the water with an offer to your customers to choose? Because, you know, other OEMs, they still offer all of these different, you know, it's not Tesla streamlined where you get 5 choices on your car and that's it. It's not the Henry Ford Model T, you don't, black is great color. So Ford still offers lots of options. I'm just saying, what's one more in the list of 100 options for you? Right. What's another option? What's another option to have? Or if you wanted to just see how it would go, or find out the nitty gritty details from Tesla on what it would take to switch. I don't know. I wouldn't put it at 0. I'm not saying I think that's likely, but I wouldn't put it at 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Tesla's going to start offering retrofits of the North American charging standard to certain select automobiles.
Boy, I like that. I'm money making. Woo! Let's go. Yeah. Be hard to gain control of the software enough though to manage it on the OEM car.
Well, but if they just anyway, let's just put it this way. That Elon, he's a smart cookie. And in fact, that's what I said. I'm skeptical about the 2050 thing, about getting off of sustainable energy by 2050. But if anybody can do it, Elon can. If anybody else that told me we're going to be off sustainable energy by 2050, I'd say liar, crazy, lunatic. But if Elon says that's what he's going to get done, it may be maybe 2055. But the point is, by 2050, the handwriting will be on the wall. It's just like full self-driving. You can see it's there. There may be some hurdles yet, but the point of it matter, you can see it's there.
So Don doesn't know I'm going to say this now. But now that you're retired again, I want to know when you're going to do your part with the renewables and get me a solar panel. It's time, Donnie. It's time. I want a solar panel. I want solar. I don't care if we live in the shade. I'll even take out a couple of trees, not 3, but 2. I'll agree to 2 trees coming down. Yeah, I would like to
put it right over there in that flower bed. And put a couple solar panels over the flower bed.
If you put it down low, it'll get tuxed. I don't think you want to do that.
It'll get tagged.
It'll get tagged. I don't think you want it. It's got to be up high somewhere. We can talk about the where. I'm feeling very much in a compromising sort of a mood if we're talking about real installation. So, because Elon said last night that car to grid to car, I think he thinks you're an idiot if you don't have a power wall. I think he was pretty clear that his solution to allowing car to grid to car was going to be there's got to be a power wall in there. Like, you've got to have a battery.
That was
batteries required, or it doesn't, make sense or whatever. But
power wall is required because the whole tie-in to your power panel and backfeeding the grid, all that stuff. You've got the power wall the installation of the power wall has all of that, and so then the Tesla just looks like your car will just be an add-on battery. It's just a supplemental battery that you plug in, and now you've got an extra battery plugged into your system.
So all assistance in convincing Dawn that it's time to make the move. If you guys want to email him or leave him comments or do something to help me out here, you know, now that he's got some time again, maybe sort of after he catches up on a couple of things.
Yeah.
I need help over here. I need help.
What she doesn't really want solar. What she wants is a power wall. That's what she really wants.
Well, that would be true, right in the garage next to Ruby. That yeah, I do. Right. Well, I've been
Well,
cold.
solar's good too. I'm not knocking solar, but what she really wants is a power wall.
Right. Well, I want to be prepared for a loss of power for more than 24 hours.
Right.
That's what I want to be prepared for. Anyway. So we're going to let Tom finish now because there's 20 more minutes in his video. And let's see how many more times he can cause me to spout off. I like Tom.
Yeah, I do too.
We did not meet Tom at the track. Did we meet Tom?
We've met Tom.
We've met Tom. Okay. I like Tom. Yeah. I respect Tom. Tom knows especially knows his home and charge. I mean, I really do. But that won't keep me from spouting off a few more times depending on what he says in this video.
He's a Jersey boy.
That is true.
He is a Jersey boy.
Maybe that is true. But then he could probably take me mouthing off about his video. That's right. Yourself in so much trouble over there. So Marquis Brownlee is there, and I just assumed he was a California guy, but apparently he's a New Jersey guy because he's got a New Jersey plate. Don said he was from New York, and I said,
New Jersey, you know.
Watch it over there, Bubba. Watch it, Bubba. Hey, Donnie, let's head for home. Oh, that's right. We won't have anything to charge with after we get up there.
It looks like Tom missed it. He did not allow for the flat.
R1T.
A little push of maybe 3, 4, 5 inches.
All right, let's try that. Could you hold this for me? I don't want to lock it again. Let's pull up a little.
That's great. Shame on you, Tom, for trying to get all the Tesla owners riled up about having to share the supercharger networks and telling them they're going to be blocked and that they're going to be. Shame on you for telling them that they should be upset. That's not right.
Well, for $2.50 a kilowatt, Tesla's not going to be
right.
Like
just because it's cheap today doesn't mean it's going to stay cheap. And I trust Tesla to open it up in places that can afford to have the charging, and also to add enough new chargers in the next year and a half to offset new people on the network. So stop that making people bad at each other. Stop it now. I don't want to hear it.
My point is, but I hear everything and another way that you can do that, you charge $3 a kilowatt, and the only people who are going to tie up a Tesla supercharger who have CCS are the people who can't make it home. They're going to pull in there because there's nowhere else. Otherwise, they'll pull into the EA station. That's what I said. They're going.
Well, they'll at least try the EA station first.
Well, they'll try.
They'll try it, and then they'll come across the street and pay Tesla whatever Tesla asks them.
Idle, just sitting here twiddling their thumbs.
Right. There's just, in all seriousness, there's just nothing to be gained from trying to incite Tesla owners to be upset about the network being opened. I don't approve.
$3 a kilowatt.
Oh.
Well, hell, let's just make it even $5 a kilowatt.
Donnie. So kind Tesla drivers will not use these trailer ones or these ones on the end unless they have a real need. They won't just, if the whole thing is empty, I'm just suggesting that you and I won't be pulling into that one just because it's easier to get in and out of the car, or, you know, even Tesla people have to, I've had to get out and back up and pull closer.
Yeah,
they don't all have the stop bump on them. I had I've had Michelle get out and watch, and Johnny get out and watch, so I don't have to pull back a second time. Yeah. That I get it right the first time, and I have extra help. But anyways, this looks like it works better for everyone at the supercharger because it doesn't require 2 stalls, 2 parking spots to be used up. So, yep. Hopefully, people will be. Just because Tesla didn't it doesn't mean it's not hard. Tom implied that because others are having trouble, that means that they fumbled. Don used the word fumbled.
Right.
But just because Tesla made it look easy doesn't mean it was easy. Maybe the others are struggling and not just fumbling. It's 8:45. If I don't cook Don some high nighttime, if I don't cook Don his pork chop here real soon, I'm going to be in serious trouble. We're now past Taekwondo time. I did tell you we didn't go to Taekwondo tonight, right? Because Johnny said he was too tired and asked not to go. And anyway, I've done a lot. As you can see, the side of the building is now, the windows are all, matter of fact, this is done except for, there's some post lamps that go up, like an awning piece that comes on, and still a little bit in the corner and the handrail stuff. I mean, yes, there's still, and barrels, there's still a few things missing, but not much, not much. I would say, of what was left to do on this first floor, that I completed 3/4 of it, of what was left. And there's just a little small amount of work as parts roll in to finish out. This would have been nice if it would have been in green, but I don't have like any of those parts in green, so that didn't happen.